You're a fraud.
You're a liberal hack.
Welcome back to episode bloody I don't know of The Hack and the Fraud. Back again in the hot seat pretty quickly after our last episode, Late Night with Devil and Unfrosted. It's been going gangbusters, so thanks for tuning in, everybody, and hello to the new listeners.
Appreciate the listen.
Very much.
And get ready, set, match. That's not really a thing, is it?
Maybe get ready for a good
game.
volley, a back and forth of ideas. 30 love, other
things. I just mentioned that because I read the so I was just we both watched Challenges. That's been our sort of movie. That's been our I suppose mission for this podcast, watching Challenges. It's just come out on streaming services. And I just read a Roger Ebert review which did exactly that. It just went straight into the tennis puns, but just lazy as hell.
I know, literally every review. It would have been the worst on its premiere night, I reckon. Like all these sycophantic 25-year-old film journalists going, the sort of shit they're saying. Not us. We're here to we're tackling it on an artistic level, not just on a level of how many tennis puns we can do. Because we can do a lot.
We could do a lot, but we're not going to.
We're not. We are going
because we love you too much.
And we love cinema too much.
Yeah.
To reduce it to that. Anyway, I might play the trailer now. Should I pop it in?
That was a love, in a love 15 game. This.
Oh. Yeah, we love.
We're gonna sneak it in. No one's gonna know.
You think that tennis is about expressing yourself, doing your thing. So you don't know what tennis is.
What is it? Tashi Duncan, she's in another league.
You were incredible today.
To have a fashion line, a foundation, she's gonna turn a whole family into millionaires.
All right, challenges. Nicholas, challenges. Do you want to go first, or do I go first?
Challenge us. Yeah.
I challenge you to go first.
Why don't you?
You can serve.
There we go. We promised we weren't going to, and we've already done it
5 seconds.
million times.
Fault.
I know. Look, it's a hard one. I still kind of I saw it probably 2 days ago, and I still kind of don't really know where I sit with it. And it's just as simple as whether I like it or not. I probably still can't answer that. I think there are things. I'll break it down like this. There are things that I really like. There are things that I like, and there are things that I really didn't like that just kind of irked me, and it leads me more towards I certainly don't think it's a bad film, but it leads me to a score which isolated doesn't sound like I liked it, but I certainly liked a lot of it. But I think I know
what you mean.
Yeah, so I'm a 6 out of 10, which sounds like I didn't like it at all.
It's not too bad. 3 out of 5 sounds better. Looks better.
3 out of 5, yeah, right. For some reason, that sounds way better.
3 stars out of 5. Let's check it out. 6 out of 10.
Do you want me to get into what I liked about it? Maybe that.
Yeah, well, seeing as you've said your rating already, I'll say my rating, which was 7. I gave it a 7, so I liked it a bit more. I thought it was a good movie, not a great movie, and not a bad movie. But you can talk about what you liked. I've got my pros and cons, some of them. But you go first.
Yeah, I think it's easy to talk about what I liked, and then it can kind of lead into what I didn't like a bit easier than the other way around.
Yeah.
So as a sport movie, man, it's always difficult. So we talked about watching Late Night with the Devil, how you sort of went in with much more of a technical lens in sort of how the film looked. Say more.
Here comes sports nerd.
Yeah, right. I'm a bit of a sports nerd, right? So
Mr. Tennis.
Yeah, I play tennis and I follow tennis and watch probably a little bit of tennis.
But go on.
I know no one ever asked because it is pretty it's an uninteresting backed it
No,
up.
it is actually interesting in
But,
this. Yeah, go on.
despite that, no, so there's been heaps of tennis movies, and the tennis is never good in the movies. Like you watch it, and they just don't have that athletic kind of ability to really convince you that they're a tennis star. This film doesn't have that issue. So by that I mean
They look
Zendaya,
powerful.
even the two actors. At the start, I was like, they're not 30, but then I kind of got it because they obviously needed to have
30
actors
and
who
18.
could look younger, 10 years younger, and then 10 years older.
Yeah.
And they're both actually 30-something years old. They just have a very youthful appearance.
Yeah, I think they
And that-
casted that well for both ages. Didn't really look silly
exactly.
either way.
Yeah, that's right. I was a bit harsh and thought that guy doesn't look 30, but then he is really 30, and they had to have someone who could be dressed. Yeah, so it's not. I feel like I'm just going to cop and say, look, that's fine. He can.
Yeah.
He's playing his age, which is fair enough. And also, yeah, like tennis-wise, they looked the goods. They looked like good, decent tennis players. There were times where obviously the CGI tennis balls kind of shot up at the screen, which I thought was a bit... It didn't take away from it as much as you'd think it would, because they kind of looked like they were hitting the ball with a lot of...
That's funny. This is
gusto.
taking me back to last week where... Yeah, I mean, this week I'm like, were there CGI tennis balls? I guess I don't look at tennis balls
Yeah,
enough.
heaps.
So like,
So
yeah,
many.
it seemed fine to me. I was like, yeah, that's the least important part of what I'm watching.
And this, yeah, exactly. So I got to... When I say it's like some of the irks, that this isn't really what I had an issue with at all, where you know, like
Yeah.
they're belting the tennis ball at each other. Is that what you normally see in a tennis point? No, but it's fine. It's like people aren't going to ask questions about that, and they look convincing enough to most people watching the film that they are actually really good at, like, pro tennis players.
So are these these are your pros so far, which is begrudgingly admitting that they're a good age, and begrudgingly
Yeah, they're a good
admitting
age.
that
The tennis is
balls are
good.
fine.
They athletically suit, like that they athletically
look-
suit their
Particularly, what's his Art? I thought he was very professional
Got a-
athlete looking.
tennis, specifically
Specifically
tennis, right?
tennis,
Like,
and I liked the little
Yeah.
details of all their like surgery scars all over their body, the way their bodies were scarred from their ordeals. It did give a real sense of the professional athlete, I think, and how torturous it is.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
that.
there was a lot of research done into. I mean, I wouldn't put it past the director being a tennis fan, having set this movie. Like, it hit all the, like, this is kind of how. I mean, obviously, there's a bit of artistic license in terms of how it all goes, but like it's not unbelievable.
See, I thought it was kind of like as if I had directed a tennis movie, like that level of love of tennis, which is. See, it could be a cool idea for a setting, but that's about the end of the passion for tennis. I didn't get a real vibey, passionate sense from the director, Luca.
Yeah, like a hobby passion. I certainly, I think he likes tennis maybe a bit more than you do.
Maybe.
Like, you have to. Like, there's enough. Like, you've seen those horrible sport movies where, like, the director clearly doesn't know the rules. You've probably seen that
Sure.
that sort of. It's like a TikTok of the. I think it's like this girl playing basketball who does this sort of like step back, like the step to and fro. And
the
there's
way
like
you're
5 seconds on the clock, and it's like
the
5 seconds are gone. She can't. The game's done.
The audience,
like,
can't
there are
see,
some
but
horrible
the
sport
miming you
films.
did looked a lot like Halle Berry in Catwoman doing the basketball. If you've seen that scene,
Yeah. That's right. Like, some directors get it so wrong. Maybe that's just we're just so.
well, the
like,
tennis
we've
was
seen
right.
So much shit sport that we're like, finally, this is a decent effort.
I didn't at all
Okay.
like question. I was like, this feels like a pretty realistic depiction of tennis. I don't think I've really seen tennis movies. Just 7 Days in Hell with Andy Samberg, which is still my favorite tennis movie.
Well, there's that. There's Wimbledon, and then there's with Kirsten Dunst. Is that Wimbledon?
Oh yeah, no, I haven't seen that one. No.
And there's Match Point. One of them was directed by Woody Allen. I think Match Point was.
Ooh. I should stay away from that one, then, right?
You're definitely going to watch it now.
Yeah, I'm not going to log it on
so
Letterboxd.
I mean, from a film point of view, so I like the three actors, and I like their performances to the role, especially Zendaya. I thought this was really great, and she was actually able to really, hit a good performance, like a really good performance that I think we know she can do, and she sort of really.
Well, it was this is the star-making role, really. It's her, I guess, first real big adult drama. June does not count. And I think she, for the most part...
definitely counts.
Huh?
It doesn't knock it. Can't
That counts,
dismiss it.
That more counts towards stardom. And I think it's kind of hard to argue that she's a star at this point, because she is... In a way that even surpasses Chalamet. I think she has more like fans outside of just her movie roles, which I think is kind of crucial to stardom. But I think this one was like a real test for her to, yes, carry the film, but also be like a great actor. And I think while she does have the juice, she does have the potential to be anything. I don't think this role and this specific movie has, finalized it, period, end of discussion. She's a great actor. Yeah, it's good. But I don't think
sorry, yeah, no, I agree with that. Like, but I don't think even like an Oscar-worthy performance was going to do that. It's she's
sure.
You know what I mean? Like an Oscar-worthy performance. Yeah, exactly.
You need some runs.
Like, okay, cool, all right. But it sort of
one thing that did impress me with Zendaya was her acting as the sort of teenage version of herself and the maternal, older 30-year-old version of herself. I thought that the way she differentiated between the two characters was, I mean, I wouldn't call it like insanely subtle, but like super tangible. I really believed her as a 30-year-old washed up mother. She's not washed up because she had the knee injury and everything, and she's embittered and she kind of hates her husband. I thought she did a really good job of portraying the differences between those two.
Yeah. And but likewise the other two guys too, who I was a little bit more worried about them being able to convincingly play both sides of the court.
Yeah. Well, they were good.
You mentioned Timothy Chalamet, who was in the previous, 2 films ago, Call Me by Your Name, which is directed by
which is the better of the two, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, I gave this one a 6, I think by default almost. Again, I don't hate this, but I think it's just
But again, I didn't really click with Call Me by Your Name in the way that I think a lot of people do.
Me too. I mean, so I think with both of these films, and we don't have to sort of compare them, but I think stylistically it certainly hits its notes. It's pretty great from a cinematography point of view. And this kind of leads, so it's all got all the sort of like, I suppose, key cogs to be a good film. So talking about challenges, where it's really loses me, I think, is at the end of the film. It's sort of what was it trying to say, or what was it trying to convey to me? And I can't answer that. And not in like that's really kind of ambiguous and great in a way. It's like
ending explained. You need one of those.
I actually do. Like seriously, I kind of need something like that. Just to, what was the point of that?
The point was male friendship is really important. Basically, I think is the point.
Something as dumb as that.
Because it's more just about the characters, like the character arc for the boys and for Zendaya. I think Zendaya, it's like controlling them both, which is satisfying to her, but like fixing both of them in a way, and also getting her husband to fight back and essentially be a man. I think that's it, all of that's her purpose. And so, well, what's it saying? You're right. What's it saying? I'm just describing.
No. But I see what you're saying. I think it's just it doesn't know how to tie that whole all the character arcs and all the
and all the different themes as well. That it's
it doesn't do it at all,
because the sexuality
that's my problem.
The sexuality was really hyped up as a big part of the movie, like the threesomes and the polyamory, and all that stuff's really irrelevant. Like, I don't think the guys really have any attraction to each other at all. I think one of the guys is bisexual, the other one is pretty much fully straight, and just anything to get Zendaya's love, which makes sense. I liked a lot of that
teenager.
Stuff. What I didn't like, I don't know if I necessarily kind of like agree with Luca about sexuality. I feel like he was portraying sex in this movie, like he's kind of arguing that everything is just an extension of the same kind of peacocking and courtship that we've done since we were apes. Like tennis is just a more complicated version of mooning the female primate with your big bright red ass. Like that, he's saying that's really all life is, and I just kind of like disagree with that hypothesis. But what I do like is the way he uses the music to bring up. The music is good because the music is like, I wrote down, I couldn't think of a phrase for it, but like when the rage takes over, when the like sex takes over, when like it's the same, because it is like gay German club music, right? It's like the thing that takes over and makes you like fuck somebody in a bathroom is the same thing that's making you win tennis and like fall. It's like the competitiveness, the like.
I love that bit too. I didn't mention that, but that's I really enjoyed that. That's a really good way to put it. I was thinking of it like that kind of. I mean, this you put it way better, but where you're playing some kind of shooter game or like a video game where the music jacks up when the action happens.
Yeah.
And then it goes back down when there's no more action. Like Far Cry, I think, has that.
Yeah, and Halo was a big one for that as well.
Halo, So I liked how it used the music actually to do that.
And
I think there's a line from the movie with Zendaya says like a tennis match is a relationship or
I hated that.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, no, it's not.
Oh, yeah, we had a relationship out on the court, and it's classic kind of guy who's not that into sports, like thinking about what sports is about. I think, it's not about having a relationship with the other guy out there.
He was more right about the whole the like the adrenaline building up and the music kind of like
like taking over you.
That's more correct.
I did like also, some of those artistic flourishes, like when you go to the ball POV, when the camera's flying around as the tennis ball. I like that, going under the court. But I found that outside, and I really liked the scene where it's at nighttime and it's almost like there's a tornado, and there's.
I'll just say, if I can just so the ball scene was good, but I worried when it first started happening that it was. If you remember that scene in The Hobbit where the barrel cam.
I actually liked the barrel cam. So
you like the
yeah. It's like the one part of the Hobbit movies. I was like, they worked for me.
I hated it, obviously.
I know everybody hates it.
That was a symptom of why the film was so bad. But if you told me, I want to do a scene where I have the camera like as a GoPro in the ball, I'd say no, cut that. But you're right, it does actually kind of work.
But then also, as I was saying, the windy city kind of scene, and then the music is like, so it's windy, it's at nighttime, there's paper flying everywhere and like street debris, and they're behind the car, and the red brake light is on, and Zendaya's kind of half bathed in red light, and the music's doing the but it's also got like a Blade Runner type synthesizer melody going on. It's like and I'm like, I'm fucking floating at this point, and I like these moments where it has a bit of artistic flourish. But then I thought for like a lot of the movie, it's filmed kind of plainly, and I think it's a 2-hour movie. Like 90 minutes of it, it's indistinguishable from so many other films. I thought, it's kind of a lot of scenes of characters in bedrooms, so it's kind of hard to film it in an interesting way. But I thought he kind of didn't really do much with a lot of it, and just saved it for those couple of scenes.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Okay, so I mean, aesthetically, it was inspired, but
Briefly.
way too often.
Intermittently, yeah.
I was thinking from that we probably both enjoyed like the parts, not the sum of the parts in a way.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think it's that's why when I'm saying do I like it or not, I still can't really answer that. I'd certainly recommend and give it a watch, but I think there are parts that I really like. But as an entire movie, I don't think it's quite as good as it really should have been or could have been. I don't know.
There's some real, like, some misses in it, some eye-rolling stuff. Like, I think it was...
Some faults.
I think it was, some faults. Some double
some
faults.
Line calls.
Some obscenity point loss for this one. I think it was the day after he had sex with Zendaya, and so he's and he eats the banana. He bites off the guy's cock. He's telling him he's cuckolding him as a visual metaphor. Yeah. You remember that scene?
Yeah, I remember, but the one you're talking about is where they ask if you had sex to serve like
There's that one. That's a separate, where he puts the ball in the tennis racket. But no, it's like the morning after, a different time, they have sex or something, and the brown-haired guy has a banana that is very phallically filmed, and he, bites a big chunk off it and is being all smug about having sex with the other guy's wife, or, whatever it was. Very it's kind of goofball stuff, really, where it's taking a big bite of his penis to imply that he's, taking his masculinity to some degree. Some of that stuff I just thought was a bit bozo. And that's fine, but it's not subtle.
Yeah. It's
not everything needs to be subtle, but
I think the amount of time it took to get to the serve at the end, where he does that serve, where he places the ball in the middle of the racket.
I did like that final payoff.
I liked it, but it just was okay, I know what he's going to do, and then he did that 5 minutes. You know what I mean? It was just
there's a lot
we kind of know where you're going with it. Just let's do it. Don't obviously it's going to happen. But part of that, it's the banana scene. It's all about the sort of the mental battles and getting in the head and stuff like that. So that, kind of is tennis, to be honest.
The mental stuff is, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of it. Yeah, I kind of wish it would have leaned more into any of the elements, lean more into the tennis, or lean more into the sexuality, or lean more into the romance, the actual love triangle. Because I think the romance is separate from the sex. In the way that it's separate from the tennis, and the sex stuff is really, there's not much there. It's kind of like your stock standard, male friendship. Fucking guys making out naked. But even I feel like the first time I watched porn was with another male friend of mine when we were 12. We were both clothed and everything, but that's kind of how you looked at a porn magazine when you were in year 2. With a bunch of guys. It's all tied in together. Huh? Year 2. Not year 2. Year 5, I'll say. Year 5.
Maybe you were in year 2 and the other guys were in year 12.
Yeah. So you went to a
primary school, the classic where you're in year 3 and then you get invited to the teacher's lounge and you're opening and watching porn. Yeah, I'm in there, man.
You went to the school that Alan Jones taught at, didn't you?
I did. He wasn't teaching at the same time.
It wasn't at the same time.
They could have. It was way worse. It was
they were way worse.
There's a lot of stuff going on. The teacher's you guys are,
you're the lucky generation.
Lucky. I wish you're the silent generation. Fucking no talking. All right.
Seems like
maybe keep some of that. Maybe don't.
No.
Anyway, look. Yeah, it's
overall,
nice to have an agreement after so many pods where we've obviously completely seen the wrong, the different film.
I thought that we would have a similar opinion on it because I honestly think this movie is pretty inoffensive. In terms of the fact, I mean, it seems like it's going to be a real exciting kind of unique, maybe a bit dangerous piece of art. But I think in the end, it's pretty.
It's nothing like the trailer suggests.
No,
That's right.
I feel like
the trailer.
my parents could watch it and they wouldn't be like, "Oh, this is weird." They would just be like, "I feel like normal people are watching this movie and it's fine." And it's a good movie. But I think in a way it's kind of like a mainstreamified version of Luca, and maybe that was the intention, to make it like sort of palatable but still maintain some of his kind of trademarks. But I really thought it was one that's, I think a lot of people are going to be thinking 6, 7. I don't think there's going to be many 9s, 10s, and certainly few 1s or 2s, because it is, as I say, inoffensive.
Yeah, but it has had good reviews, and like I brought up IMDb and Roger Ebert. So Roger Ebert had a 3
I don't know.
and 4.
Critics are crazy, man.
Yeah. I mean, they can certainly get they can get stuck on someone and
what
be
do the
against
people
them.
say?
So Michael Bay could put out an excellent film, and they'll be like, "Nah, it's
Bro,
stupid."
fucking Miami Vice still has like 44% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's a 10 out of 10 movie. It's like, for years I thought it was shit because it's like, oh yeah, Miami Vice remake. It's got like 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. Who would watch that? It's like a 2000s blockbuster crap. And it's like one of the best movies ever. But it's got 46%. Fuck them.
I mean,
what do the people say? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, the people say 7.6 out of 10, so they're even higher than both of us.
People are always right. They can like it a bit more. That's fine.
They're allowed to. Metascore was 82. That's the sum of all. Like, that's sort of an average of all the Metascores. It's very high too. Okay. So it's three and a half out of 4 stars for Roger Ebert. But interestingly, the reviews very similar to ours in terms of like it comes. They say. Kind of like what I said at the end was like, what did we see? Like, what just happened and what does it mean? And it talks about how, but I suppose it doesn't really. It's fine with everything else, and it's fine with not knowing what it means and what they're trying to say. They just had a good time, and maybe they just had that's the sort of mindset they had going in or coming out of it.
Whereas, I think people wanted to like it. I think Zendaya, it's sexual, it's polyamory, it's modern, it's fresh. People really wanted to like it, like especially in this moment of like there being good movies again, and everybody kind of wanting every movie to be Oppenheimer and Barbie and June for people who liked June. You
didn't like 2 of those films you just mentioned. You just
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Maybe you secretly like them. I don't know. You could have named any other film when you said movies that people like.
These are the ones that we're talking about now, There's lots of movies coming out. People really wanted to like this one. And so they're giving it a bit of credit because it's not bad enough to disappoint you so much that you go, oh, all of my dreams are ruined. You just kind of like, I feel like I walked out of it going like, yeah, it was good. I want it to be a little better, but it's good.
Yeah. And that's, I think maybe it's just a good time to be an adequate film at the moment because it has just been massive lull.
That's true.
But especially cinematic films, So.
We used to have like not even but just like mid-budget actor. I think this was a bit expensive, but like just sexual thriller active vehicles that were like 7 out of 10 movies all the time. With Sharon Stone and stuff. But we just kind of lost them in the, the Marvel era. But I think they're coming back now. People, the talented Mr. Ripley, stuff like that. People have always loved this kind of movie, and it's always existed, apart from the last sort of 10 years.
They try to bring that back as bloody what's it called, Saltburn, didn't they?
Yeah.
Well, you specifically said
people wanted Saltburn to be good, but that was so disappointing that it very hard to like convince yourself you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's just a bridge too far. Well, that's been our review. I
don't think I was consult my list once more. I mean, I liked the way he edited the kind of main match throughout the film, and he continued learning stuff about the characters.
The actual narrative itself.
The editing, the structure, the narrative structure. I thought.
The structure.
The structure. I thought was
The
very
timing,
nice,
the structure.
very nice work. You know, so it doesn't need to be anything too crazy. Just very nice work, very tidy. 3-act structure, and it was like set 1, set 2, set 3, perfect. But I think that's about it.
I mean, it's like these things. It hit the marks really well. It's just, I think, like, yeah.
For whatever reason, it's a little bit of a miss. I think, but still a good movie. I would say still check it out. Like, for me, it's a recommend in the sense of like, I recommend you watch it and decide for yourself. I'm not telling you,
and
it's
it's
a great
not
movie.
one we're gonna hold anyone's opinion where if they really liked it, it's like, yeah, I could see that. You know,
and if you really didn't like it, I kind of respect it. I'm like, yeah, it should have tried a little harder.
Alrighty,
Yeah, that'll do.
that'll do.
Thanks for joining us. Like, share, subscribe, and yeah, see you again soon. Probably there's lots of Godzilla X Kong and Godzilla -1. Have you watched -1 yet?
Oh, I'll get around to it.
And
I'll do it.
What about Godzilla X Kong?
I'm gonna be so cranky that I'm just gonna. Obviously, spoilers. I'm gonna hate these movies.
Can we get a confirmation to the audience, a promise to our fans that you will watch Godzilla X Kong? I'll
give them a grunt. I'm saying,
we take those. Those count. All right. Thanks, Nico. I'll see you for the monkey movies.
Thank you, Hack.
Thank you.
As always, a pleasure.
Bye for now.